Welcome to Comically Exposed. This is episode 14. I am Heather Nye, and my co-host is...
Gabbie Blachman.
Yay.
Yay. We're super happy, excited that you're here.
Yeah, we are. And very prepared as usual.
Hey, that sounds like perfectionism. If we were prepared, that would be leaning into perfectionism.
And wouldn't be comically exposed, which is literally what the title is, right? So
that's right.
Yeah. So, Gabbie.
Okay.
Do we want to just go? Okay,
yeah.
We're going to go for it. Okay.
We're going to do
Gabbie,
it.
so what's going on with you?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for asking. I've been waiting at least 15 seconds for you to finally talk about me. What's been going on with me? Well, some fun things. One of which is just, so I've bought and returned about $2,000 worth of shoes on Amazon, which I'm wondering is maybe a little OCD, but also I am very proud of myself as an ADHD person that I have returned all the shoes that I did not want.
Wow. Yeah.
So I've been looking for high arch support, cute, going out shoes. So of course I chose clog boots because that's what the kids are wearing. So I've bought and returned 10 pairs or whatever else. And it is kind of crazy to see it on my credit card bill and then, see the return money come back. But I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, a lot of money just coming and going. I still haven't found the perfect shoe, and that's okay. So I found a pair of shoes that make me feel like I live in Aspen, Colorado. So I don't know what that is, but it's definitely not my usual vibe, and I'm leaning in. So
Great.
Made a decision moving forward. Not going to ruminate on it. Thank you. The other thing is last week, 2 weeks ago, what time, year, place, planet, I said that I was going to be focusing on the job search, and I am, but I decided that I'm going to make this master document of a timeline, and I have made it up to, I think, 2009, 2010 of all the different jobs that I've held. So that feels good, but at the same time, I know you're going to be surprised to hear this. I have a lot of self-criticism screaming at me, being like, oh, Gabbie, you're just coming up with a whole new project that's deviating from the ultimate goal of having a job or applying to a job. So I have been trying to be gentler with myself and seeking reassurance, which is not good.
Oh, no.
No, but as my old OCD facilitator used to say, asking once is assurance. Any more than that is reassurance. So I've only been asking people once, but I've been asking a lot of people.
So you're, I mean, it's good that you're self-aware about this, because that's the first step in noticing that something is happening. Right. Yeah. And so why do you think, I guess the question is, why do you think you need to seek? Oh, well, you know what? That sounds judgmental. Cause I don't think that's a good question to ask.
Okay.
No, cause I was going to ask, why do you think you're seeking reassurance? Or assurance,
Yeah.
But if it's you're okay. So let's do it.
Be judgmental, judge away, my friend. Well, because the whole job search process seems like somebody is asking me to put together a puzzle in a completely black room. And there are 4 puzzles that have all been mushed together in a pile. And I'm supposed to put together the picture of, Monet's water lilies or something. And so I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and that I keep trying different things like different career counselors or different types of job searches or getting job alerts or like going on LinkedIn, and stupid LinkedIn is like, hey, you know what's going to get you a job? Why don't you take one of our courses? So I take one of their stupid courses, or I tried to teach myself Excel using Udemy, that site. And then I got stuck because I have a Mac, and Excel on Mac, there's like certain functions that you can't do. So, well, this is good. Little leaf blower in the background. So you're welcome, everyone. Consider it, I don't know what, soothing. So anyway, I just feel like I keep trying stuff and nothing's stuck. And also I have such imposter syndrome when it comes to applying to any job. I'm like, why would anybody want to pay me to do anything? Because, you know, I'm vastly underqualified. And I do know that that is very typical of women, and that a man will apply for a job that he is 50% qualified for, and a woman will apply for a job that she's 150% qualified for, and probably already did, and is taking a pay cut for the new job. But so I have been asking people, because I don't know that me having this timeline of jobs, which I'm considering to be like an ultimate resume that I can pull from to create resumes for all the different types of jobs that I'm, you know, applying for. I don't know if it's like a side quest, like an ADHD, you know, I'm just going down a rabbit hole, or an OCD thing or whatever, like I need to have all the documents, or if it's actually going to end up making me feel productive or confident enough that here's where the OCD comes in. I just realized. Because I'm afraid that I'm going to miss a job that has experience that pertains to whatever I'm applying for. And so I'm like, oh no, if I don't get the job because they didn't know that I was a bartender at the Olive Garden from 2002 for 6 months.
Oh,
you know
geez.
what I mean? I know.
Yeah.
So real tightrope there. So I have like asked my dad, asked my mom, asked my sister, asked my ADHD coach, asked my OCD therapist.
Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
That's what my OCD therapist says to me like every session. He says like, he's like, oh, okay, so what's your thought process on that? And I'll just give him, you know, a sousson, just a sprinkling. Yeah. And he's like, well, that's exhausting. And I'm like, I know. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I hate all of it. And he's like, yeah, do you have any motivation to do it? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, because you're thinking about it way too goddamn much. I mean, he's generally more therapeutic than that, but.
Well, I mean, sometimes they have to give you a kick in the pants, right? It's just.
Yes.
It's like.
Yeah.
You have to see what's going on.
Yeah. He doesn't pull any punches. He'll just kind of give me a look. And this last time, I forget what I was talking about. Oh, I remember. I was talking about being a kid in 4th grade, and I didn't turn in any homework, like for most of the year. And my mom got a note from the school that was like, hey, Gabby's like failing the homework part of 4th grade. I don't know. And she was like, so Gabbie, why are you not doing the homework? And I was like, oh, no, I'm doing the homework. I'm just not turning it in because this adult, this 4th grade teacher doesn't need my help on solving these worksheets. She knows how to solve these worksheets. Why would she need some 4th graders' input on it? And then also, and I may have already talked about this, like I remember thinking that all the kids in the class, like somewhere around 2nd grade, everybody was giving a wrong answer when they raised their hand every 5th time. And so I was talking about all this stuff, and my OCD therapist goes, gosh, it sounds like you have OCD.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So moving forward,
Uh-huh. Oh, are you trying to get back on the rails?
No, I just, want to still explore the whole job thing because this is your pursuit for right now outside of, other things. And because it is the thing that you're going to use as your baseline for supporting your comedy and yourself, supporting your comedy and your mental health and your health and everything. Does it feel scary that you're moving in this direction that feels like it's accomplishing goals?
Get out of my head. Yes, 1,000%. Because ultimately, when I accomplish those goals, and if people offer me a job, then I have to make a decision that makes my life change.
Yeah.
And that is scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of skirting around the fear, right? Right now, a little bit.
I would like to say it's avoidance and procrastination because I am very comfortable with those things. Yes, you are correct.
Okay. So in your own job search timeline, do you have a timeline for that, or is it just kind of more open-ended?
Yes. I want to finish this timeline by the end of the week. And then I want to go back to applying for jobs with the stupid state application process, which is maddening. I recently, one of the job postings came with a set of videos from YouTube that was like how to apply to state jobs. But the videos are so poorly done. And it's like, yeah, it basically starts with like, first, turn on your computer. And I'm like, how do you think we're watching these videos? Right? But then it'll kind of like get a little faster when it's like create a template for each job and then you're saying and then and I'm like, wait, what? And I know I can go back and like slow it down, but it's like my brain is the one that's making it muffled because I'm like, oh, that's important information. Anyway, timeline done at the end of the week. And then I would love to be doing interviews in like the end of April going into May and hopefully have a new job by the time the summer is in full swing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bunny surprised too.
Yeah. Shocking. He's still a part of the podcast.
Yes.
You have anything to say? Nope. Just being a jerk face. Oh yeah, and then there's one other thing. Oh, I don't mean to skip over if you have more judgmental questions.
No.
Which is, I've been having a lot of anxiety and panic when I drink water. It's mostly just drinking water. So I've tried to combat it by like drinking through straws, but tiny straws also make me feel like I'm dying. And so I remember one of the things I had to do when I went to Rogers Behavioral Therapy in Walnut Creek for a while for outpatient or whatever, was they made us do all these like sensory things to see if you have OCD around those type of issues. So one of them was like you had to spin around in a chair just over and like see if it provoked, I don't know, I guess panic. I didn't really understand how it tied into OCD, but the other one was breathing through a very thin straw. And I was just like, I'll tell you this, I don't like it, but I can do it. So my current thing is to keep drinking water as the anxiety comes up, and sometimes the panic and the anxiety goes away while I'm still drinking water, and then sometimes I've hit the maximum of amount of water I can drink at one time, and the panic and anxiety is still there. It's like, oh, it's only limiting. All that is to say, I have a boba straw, and that's been fun.
Okay, so that's what.
So that's the full update, and so fascinating.
Yeah, that sounded like a brag.
Thank you.
The boba straw for your water.
Yeah, I know.
Extra fancy.
Extra fancy. And it's metal too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No glass touching those lips.
Nope, that's right. Don't want it. Disgusting. Okay.
So do you think you're looking... Okay, I'm going to go back to this because this is interesting to me because I also have some things that are not related to water, mostly minor breathing issues.
Ooh.
But this kind of reminds me of something. Do you think you're searching for anxiety? Because that is also an OCD thing.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
You mean with the water?
Yes.
The thing is, there is some like anticipatory panic because I've had such panic when drinking water. And it does feel like the walls are closing in and it does feel like I'm drowning myself. But the other thing is I feel fairly dehydrated because I've been sort of avoiding drinking water. So I'm trying to lean into it. When you say like going towards anxiety, do you mean in a like exposure way or what?
Well, so looking for it, not going towards it, because you're kind of searching for something, like searching for the panic or searching for. I'm not the expert at this, but I know that this is something I do when anticipating not wanting to have a panic attack and preventing it before it happens. Yeah, because that is the whole thing, right? When you do these practices, it's not that what you're doing is you're preventing the pain or the feeling or whatever to not show up. What you're doing is you're not reducing, but accepting that the pain will exist when it exists.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And so searching for it is like, that anticipation of it is part of that same, like wanting to control where it shows up. And so, I was just curious if that's something that you've been noticing yourself or if it's just.
Yeah. You're like 3 for 3, 12 for 12 at this point. This episode should be titled Heather's Right on the Money.
Well, it's only because I'm doing a lot of exploration myself, and I'm just starting to notice. I feel like my eyes are opening, so like to certain things, and starting to see it within myself. And so it's like, oh, I'm noticing that I'm doing this. That's interesting, It's like, but no judgment on it, It's like, or no correction of it.
Ooh,
and that's a new one for me. Is to not correct myself.
Yeah,
because I'm used to that. It's like
1000%
correction.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to notice the distinction, but might be something you could explore if you're noticing that you're anticipating things a little too much.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I totally am. And my OCD therapist also brought that up this week. So again, stop bugging my phone with your psychic abilities.
It's my only way of getting stuff on the pod, right? It's like right. I have to take notes. I spend most of my time just sitting there listening, your phone's constantly on, and I just put my phone to my head.
Which is good. And I think the Surgeon General recommends that.
Yes. And then I just kind of like think about Gabbie. Okay, OCD Gabbie. And then
thank you.
I get all this information.
Yeah. Well, it's financially, I don't know how it's helping you in any way, shape, or form, but I do appreciate the attention. Is it an invasion of privacy? Sure. But am I getting attention? Oh, yeah. But yes, the anticipation is definitely coming up more. And I think it goes into what we were talking about. Like my life needs to change within the next 6 months in some very big ways, in some like moving somewhere else ways, getting a different job way, a third thing that I can't think of right now. And so there's a lot of like, What if it's wrong? What if I choose wrong? Oh, that's coming up a lot. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I move to the wrong place? What if I get in a roommate situation that's bad?
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the big thing is change, right? It's just like it's changing. Now you can't be safe in your little hidey hole, of how things are.
Exactly. Yeah. So my OCD is like, what if we could control it? How about that? What if it doesn't, you don't have to worry about all these changes because we're going to make it good.
Yeah. Just do a little baby control, just a little. Just a little
tiny. Just so cute. Yeah. Just
nobody will notice.
Yeah, exactly. Reread this email 12 times before you send it out to make sure that it's the correct tone and has all the right information.
And you didn't tell them that, they're an asshole or a dick.
Oh my God. That reminds me. I have to drop one of my students and I've been avoiding writing the email to the parents. Anyhow, all of that is to say that's what's going on with me. And I would super love to know, Heather, what has been going on with you these past couple of weeks?
Yes. Well, I wasn't going to mention it on the pod, but I think I'm going to because it's something that's actually been helping me. I mean, I thought it was going to help me. I was just thinking for my own privacy. I thought that I might not mention it, but I am participating in a 10-week ACT, which is acceptance
and commitment therapy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Commitment for some odd reasons escapes me right when I'm thinking about it, which is very interesting. Not going to explore that too deeply. But yeah, acceptance and commitment therapy with Johnny Say, who's in the UK. It's a group therapy and I'm a few weeks in. And I'm treating it as kind of more of a supplemental to my therapy with my psychiatrist. And I've been finding it incredibly helpful. Something that my psychiatrist likes to tell me is that I like rules. And if I know too much stuff, I start to make rules around it. And I'm fully aware of this. And so with this ACT class, which is geared towards OCD and towards ERP for OCD, which is exposure response prevention. Oh my God, what is wrong with me today? I know these things.
I know.
Thank you for helping. I know. Yeah. It's like, can't remember them for a second. Is that not everything in the class is new to me because I have been working on ACT with my psychiatrist. What's helpful with this class is there's more context. And so, and understanding the process and a little bit about me. I like understanding processes, like in order to better engage with what I'm doing. Because there's always more than one way of doing something.
Of course.
And OCD tends to just want to hold things like really tightly. Yeah. And I'm learning to be a little bit more gentle with it and kind of more observational. And that is
so
kind of what
cool.
So I'm kind of exploring that, which is good. Yeah, that's basically what I'm mostly doing. Also, I'm working on trying to, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm trying to look at it a different perspective, just like with therapy, not holding things so tightly. I'm also looking at that towards productivity, because, in my past career, I was extremely productive to the point of being unhealthy. And because I was kind of avoiding my life, avoiding everything and just kind of pursuing this, career. And when I stopped that, I didn't know what to do with myself and felt like a failure because I wasn't producing. But knowing full well that I was growing. So is that kind of, I don't know how else to explain it. It's like I'm still making stuff. It's just that it's not getting out there and it should be okay for me, but and I'm finally starting to be okay with that.
That's amazing.
I know it's a little one off, one on, like one foot on, 1 foot off, because I'm like every now and then I'm like, and then the other side I'm like, I like this, it's like, what's wrong with this, So I'm still kind of in that in between stage of I don't know, accessing how I feel about it and how tightly I hold on to it. And but I know that a lot of this has to do with not only just going to therapy and doing this other class, but also doing this podcast, which has been extremely helpful in terms of, owning something, and then also putting it out there and sharing it with the world as raw as it is, so that's kind of what I've been working on currently.
That's pretty freaking cool, dude. Yay.
Yeah, I just did, I don't know what this arm is.
I don't know. It was kind of like the end of Breakfast Club. Was,
yeah. End of Breakfast Club move.
Yeah.
And then frozen for a while.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome. When you first said that you were going to take this class, I was like, oh boy. Because you take a lot of classes.
Yes, I do. And I try, actually, I'm this year, especially this year, because I've tried this a little bit last year too, was not to take as many, and only take, and only be very intentional of what I'm taking. The exploration with this class, the reason why it struck me when I saw it pop up on my Instagram feed was because I've been struggling to continue with ERP. And ACT is a nice, I think Johnny might have said this in class, but it's a nice kind of in between, to ERP, like a something that helps aid ERP to be more effective. And I would say I agree, because I kind of see the mechanics of what's happening. And so and trying not to control it, which is a very interesting thing, and being more honest with myself when I feel like, I'm doing something, but then not judging me trying to control it, which is another thing that's like a whole new thing for me. And so what used to create major loops is starting to break down. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but, but I forgive myself a little bit easier than I did before. And so it's just, That
is so worthwhile, because, for all the reasons that you just said, it's literally the acceptance part of acceptance and commitment therapy. And it's, I don't know. It's the lie that OCD says that's like, I don't know. It's like even focusing on your OCD, and then it's that anticipatory thing that we were talking about, and it's the self-criticism thing that we were talking about, and all of that creates more OCD. And if you do one compulsion, then it's very hard not to do the next compulsion. And so what you're talking about, for listeners at home, or maybe I'm just restating what you eloquently said, but it's just accepting what is, and that is how you get off the merry-go-round of hell. That is OCD.
Well, it's not necessarily it's not necessarily the fix. Maybe that's what I want to say out loud too.
Agreed.
Is that I am still experiencing OCD. I'm still having moments where I get that, intrusive thought that shows up very quickly. And then I go straight to compulsions, and I can feel it. But rather when I finally catch that I'm in doing a compulsion, then I'm like, it's more observational. And it's coming at it with a little different, perspective, a little more compassion, a little less judgment. Not to say that the judgment goes away, because because
are you trying
it's
to
a
be
natural thing.
Are you trying to be perfect in the way that you explain how it hasn't fixed everything?
True. Very true. Well, yeah, in a sense, because I want to make sure I communicate that, because I think it's important.
Yes.
Because for me, it was important because it was a misunderstanding. I thought that as soon as I could accept it, the sooner I accepted it, the sooner it would go away. And I was trying to hold it so hard. It's like, I accept it, you know,
yes, exactly.
Exasperated over the situation. And then realizing, no, dude, that's not how it works, you know, nor would it go away. And it's feeling that, it's finally feeling that moment where you're just like, it's not going to go away, and that's okay.
Yes.
And that's the difference. That's all I was trying. I wasn't trying to be a perfectionist about explaining. I know.
I'm just giving you.
But I mean, yes, that's true, because it can be very easy to slip into that pattern because it's easier to explain it. But I just wanted to explain the way that I'm learning it, I guess, and less words.
No, it's so good. And I mean, you've mentioned it a couple of times, but the not holding on so tightly to whatever it is, you know, your perception, your explanation, the therapy, the OCD, all of it. Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard to do. But again, to me, it's like, you know, and not to say that it fixes it, but I remember an auto shop class learning that the way to get out of driving into a skid that you were like, you know, spinning out is to actually turn into the skid.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you try and fight it, when you try and hold on to it so hard, that's just what makes it worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that's obvious to other people, but whatever.
But that's what makes us different. I mean, in the sense of having OCD, you know, it's that it's like the way that we treat an intrusive thought. You know, anybody else who doesn't have the disorder, they're like, oh, that's a weird thought.
Yeah, exactly. There's no meaning to that.
No, there's no meaning associated to it. And, you know, it's just, I've heard this, you know, it's funny because I've heard that time and time again from not only this class, but my therapist too has said that to me, and it didn't click. It's like there's something like in my head that was still like holding on to the fact that it's like I could go to quote unquote normal, you know, and then the intrusive thought, I don't have to like hold on to it so tightly, and you know, it's like stuff like that. It's true, I don't have to, but there's something that I can't control in my brain. Yeah. You know, that loops it, you know, that causes me to, you know, go, ugh, I don't want to feel that, or, oh no, that's scary, or, ooh, that makes me a bad person, you know, or whatever. And then go to the compulsion. And I think that part, that kind of subtlety of it is the thing that's misunderstood, you know, the most. Because otherwise you always hear like, well, then just get over it. It's like, that's not real.
I know. It's like, yeah, it's just a passing thought. Why would you? It doesn't.
Why would you
mean
hold
anything.
on to it and have a fight or flight moment?
Yes.
And, you know,
why are you threatened by the thought that, oh no, I'm going to take this ice cream that I'm enjoying right now and I'm going to shove it right up my ass. I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. I know. That's just a thought. But yeah, exactly. Most people will be like, oh, that's fun. It's a fun thought. Yeah. And then you and I are like, well, it means I'm a terrible person.
Yeah. And everybody's going to die.
Yeah. So true, man. So true. And it's going to be the people I love most first in horrible ways.
Yeah. And it's going to be your fault. So that, you know, that's just what it is. Yeah. Oh, I did want to say from before when I was
kind of judging you for taking so many classes, but I wanted to make the tie-in, which is that, you know, it kind of strikes me as the same thing as, you know, women applying for jobs. It's like, you know, you'll take in the past, you have taken like a certain writing class or something like that. And I'm like, why is Heather taking this writing class? She's a genius writer. And I don't know how this class is going to be of any help. I mean, I understand that it's good. Sometimes I take a class just for the deadlines, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of the time I'm like, it's more like I want to know why you think you need to take a class. You know what I mean? Like, is that an OCD thing? Is it an insecurity? Are you trying to get all the tools and methods from all the teachers so that you can, you know?
Well, with this particular class, I mean, I see what you're saying, because I think in the past, I think I was taking classes because I felt like I didn't have enough to like be able to write out loud. For this particular class, there was like an instinct of, I'm trying to get better, but for some odd reason, I can't get over this hump. And I felt like it was helpful. Like the way that I was perceiving it, it's like having something that you could do weekly as kind of, instead of just full on therapy and talking about specific exposures. What if I could talk specifically on how to like do the tools, like anchoring down, you know, diffusion, stuff like that. Being able to like practice those tools and find the tools that I guess maybe build my toolbox a little bit more.
Sure.
I don't know. Like it wasn't like judgmental. It was more like I didn't want to buy a book and not have a conversation with like people, you know, like I kind of wanted more experiential participation in, you know, like active participation in something, you know, and working on those tools. And when it was funny because I was thinking about it and then all of a sudden it kind of showed up as Instagram tapped into my brain.
Yes. The AI overlords have.
Yeah, they have like one little web. Now it's a couple different webs.
They're bugging your phone like you bug mine. Yeah.
Yes.
But that makes so much sense. Like it's like interacting with the type of therapy, with the methodology, being able to answer questions or get questions answered, ask them, hearing other people's experience while you're, you know, figuring out all these tools. I am with you. The amount of like books that I have bought on, you know, self-help adjacent that are, I don't know if I'm hoping for osmosis as a way to download that stuff. So I think it's genius that you took the class or taking the class. I think it's so cool.
I think I'm a genius too.
Obvious. Good.
Not really. No. I think that it's coming from a place of like actually, because if I was going to take this class a year ago, I think I would have approached it a lot differently. And so if I would have found this particular workshop, like 10-week workshop, I don't know if I would have participated the way that I'm participating. You know, I would have been like, okay, this is how you solve this.
Yes.
You know, this is how you solve. Yeah. Just establishing these rules rather than just coming at it an approach and going, okay, you know, this is like different than doing meditation, you know, like, and this is different than, you know, other things that I've learned. And that's the other thing is like, you know, although I do feel like I'm cheating on my psychiatrist a little bit, which is kind of funny. I feel like it's coming from an approach where it's not necessarily singularly focused on my version, you know, and more about kind of a generalized version, because I think I get caught up too much in the weeds about specifics.
Yeah, sure.
And so being able to pull back a little bit and see things a little bit more generally, I started noticing things a little bit more, like on my stuff, and actually other stuff that I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that was a compulsion. Like, you know, I was like, whoa, you know, and so I'm starting to notice some stuff. It's not, again, not perfect. I'm still having sleep problems. I'm still having other things, you know, and panic and stuff like that. I guess, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I'm just not holding it so tightly. And so that's just, I'm just not bearing down, you know, just like dealing and then grinning and going, yay, you know, like this is happening, you know, and I'm okay. No, I can literally tell people I'm not doing great, you know, and I don't know if you've noticed that as being a difference in terms of like the way that I talk, but
yes, I have.
I've just noticed it's less about perfectionism, you know, like putting on this mask. And so, yeah.
And honestly, there is, oh boy, this is very woo, but you do seem more grounded. Do you know what I mean? Probably because you're not trying to put like a little mask / flashing show of like, I'm doing okay and I'm working on this thing.
Don't look at this. Don't look at this.
Yeah, don't look at this. Yeah, exactly. But I really, like, as soon as you said that, then I was like, oh yeah, I have noticed that it is just calmer maybe, but not even calmer. It is, you literally seem like you're like, this is what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I feel like I'm less trying to control what I'm saying, and at the same time being thoughtful with what I'm saying, because sometimes I feel like I just say a bunch of shit and it's like I throw it up on the air and then it's like that's not what I meant to say, you know. Exactly. And so you have to kind of tap inside and go, okay, what am I trying to say, but without saying that you're being perfect at it, you know, making mistakes. And so yay.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that it is a tool, a method, something that is bringing you some relief and insight.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Well, thank you. So, Gabbie,
Heather,
what are some of your goals for the next 2 weeks?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's definitely the timeline again. It's just going to be, that's it. It's the timeline. And the, you know, being gentle with myself. Yeah. And doing more of what my OCD therapist said to do, which is lie to myself, basically tell myself that everything's going to be okay, which feels like a lie. So just, you know, repeating that as a mantra, it does make me feel better. So there you go. Heather, what do you want to work on going forward here next couple weeks?
Next couple weeks. Well, I'm going to keep doing the class. And there's some podcast stuff that I'm working on in the background that nobody will be aware of.
Awesome.
And then seeing if I have space to put some writing in without really goaling what that is. I'm working on trying to come up with a more kind of scheduled, less goal-oriented writing to kind of open myself up a little bit more.
That's
to
cool.
Whatever I'm going to write. So, yeah. That's the goal.
That's
goal
awesome.
to not goal.
Goal to not goal. Exactly. A very loose goal that nobody's holding on to.
No. Well, the intent is that in the future there will be more, you know, practical goals and stuff like that. But this time around, I just feel like I just kind of want to keep it a little, just kind of go with the flow a little bit and then just kind of move on. And
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
We're excited.
We're both excited for each other. Yay.
Yay. Breakfast Club pose.
Whoa. Well, I guess this is the end.
Yeah. Seems like
the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Okay. Bye.
Welcome to the end of the show. This is Gabbie Blachman.
And this is Heather Nye.
Thank you for listening to Comically Exposed. We are just a little show with two creators who edit and produce each episode. We appreciate all your support.
If you like what you heard, please follow us on Instagram at comicallyexp.podcast. That's comicallyexp.podcast.
Or subscribe to us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes drop every other Wednesday.
Also, special thanks to Track Club and Golden Finch for providing the music.
Thanks for listening, and hey, everybody, today is a great day to expose yourself. Okay, until next time, ta-da for ta-da!
Bye!
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.